Good evening, Vancouver. Welcome back to Canucks After Dark. It is Monday, October 20th, and the Canucks, which a team that looked really stale a week ago, has won 3 straight to start a 5-game road trip and is now 4-2. And I haven't looked at the standings, but I assume they're first place in the NHL. As always, joined by my co-host, Canuck Clay. How are we doing today, Clay?
Parker, I can't believe I'm doing this, but in a week where the Canucks went undefeated, exceeding both of our expectations, the first thing I'm going to ask you how you're doing because of a baseball game. How are you?
I'm hurting. And I think I'm hurting more because I know 80% of people in our area are Blue Jays fans. And so I'm just hearing it left and right. But I know a lot of them watched 8 games this season and, you know, they're hopping on the bandwagon and that's fine. That's the way a lot of people I know are Canucks fans too. It's the same idea. And I get it. The pain sucks. But I feel like I'm used to it at this point. I've been a Canucks fan for my entire life. I've been a Mariners fan for most of my life, on and off, obviously, but starting back in 2001 when they won 116 games, and the Seahawks have won a Super Bowl and then broke my heart the following year with the pick on the 1-yard line. So that George Springer home run, to me, it just felt like the 1-yard line again. And I could tell myself, we've been here. We've been here before. It felt like 4-0 in Game 7 in 2011. We've been here. This is not the worst loss I've experienced. It's not the worst loss I will experience. It's tough being a fan in this region because we for me, like, Canucks are 1, Seahawks are 2, Mariners are 3. That's my ranking of how much I care about sports. But I think baseball is a weird one because football, they play 17 games a year. And then a couple playoff games, and all those playoff games are do or die. So every play is big. But baseball, it is 6 months. It's the entire summer. It's 162 games, 6 nights a week. You're watching baseball if you're that invested, and that's where it hurts. But you know, the Seahawks, I assume, are still winning. I was watching until 4 minutes ago. They were up by 2 scores. So I'm assuming that they're still winning. They're up by 15 points with 6 minutes to go, and it's 4th down. So I'm feeling good. Canucks have won 3 in a row. There's some caveats there because obviously Hedl went down, Lekarmaki went down, and there's some concerns there because we have 0 center depth. But all in all, I'm in an okay spot.
Wow. I hope that felt good. I hope you felt better. I will say, and I said this to you before we pressed go live, I don't watch baseball. You know that. My followers know that. But I watched tonight's game for you, because I wanted to anticipate what kind of mood you would be in. And I know none of the players. I know how baseball works, but I was just simply not invested. It was entertaining. That's good drama for sure. So, pretty crazy that we led with 2 minutes of baseball talk. But hey, that's kind of like what's important right now. And we can spend the next 55 minutes talking about our favorite hockey team, which indeed exceeded both of our expectations. I think you said 2-0-1. I think I said 2-1 or 1-1-1. 3-0. 3-0, man. And 2 of them back to coming from behind, which is pretty amazing.
Yeah. And I still don't know what to think. Watching those games, obviously, they go down early to the Stars and pull that one back. That's a game that, frankly, Casey DeSmith had a bad night, right? And that's a good place for the Canucks to be. And then, the one close game, like the one really tight game, being a shootout against the Blackhawks, a team you should beat on most nights. But second night of a back-to-back, it's a tougher spot. And then obviously the Capitals game, and they were showing on Sportsnet, it's the 3rd Canucks game in 64 hours or whatever the number was, right? But the Canucks came out hot in that one, got a 4-0 lead, sat on it, made it scary. But hung on to that one. And I didn't really expect them to win 3 of the first 5. And looking at the next 2 games, don't want to get ahead of myself, but it really has the potential, if they lock in and play 2 more solid games, it could very well be a 5-0 road trip.
And that's the craziest thing, because we were talking about, we'd be happy if they came back with 5 points, 6 points, anything else is bonus. And we've taken out the 2, I think you'd agree with me, the 2 toughest teams of the 5 that we have to play. And and then one of them was on a back-to-back, which is even, that was the weakest one, but still, you still found a way to win. So yeah, I don't know. I think they're like one phone call away from phoning you up to play center, and then they're desperate when I'm the next call up. So we will see what happens tomorrow. I don't know if it's gonna be the RD party and against Pittsburgh. So it's fun though. Yeah, 4-2. So I will say we are third. We are third in the division behind Vegas and Seattle with their surprising start, but we're third legit. Like no one's got games in hand. No one can catch us. Granted, we're 6 games in the season, but we are legitimate third in the Pacific Division.
No, we are not. The Seattle Kraken lost today.
Sweet. So we're second.
We are technically second
by
four wins, and they have 3 wins and 2 OT losses. Both the
Love it.
points in 6 games. And looking at again, I don't want to count chickens before they hatch. I have zero concern about what the Seattle Kraken do this season. Like they are built right now to be an 85 point team, and they had a hot start. Good for them. But I'm looking down. I'm looking at the Oilers at 2-3-1. Yeah. I'm looking at the Kings at 1-3-2 to start their season. Remember the Flames last year coming out hot and almost sneaking in? They're 1-6. So they're done. They're cooked already. Yeah. But it's, you look at it, Vegas is 5-0-2. They are going to be a problem all year. We're 4-2, which is, kind of, I think, overachieving almost based on the way they've played.
Yeah.
And then, we have a 3-point cushion on the Oilers, 4-point cushion on the Kings, and obviously there's still 76 games left. But it's a good place to be, at least at this point, right? It's nice to not be, because if we were looking at it like, oh my God, we're already 4 points back of the Oilers, 4 points back of LA, we're never going to catch them all year because they're just going to keep rolling. It's a better spot to be at the very least.
Yeah, and I do, I'm not high on the Kings, but I think, to me, just Edmonton and Seattle, that especially before Seattle's lost tonight, Parker, I would say Edmonton, Seattle, you could almost reverse those 2 teams and then kind of be what we were talking about, Vegas, Edmonton, us, hopefully. So yeah, well, you're right. It's a long season, but you'd much rather be the team with 8 points than the team with 4 right now, for obvious reasons.
Yeah, and it's a season that's going to go by fast because obviously the condensed schedule, Canucks are feeling it already. The Flames really felt it off the bat with those back-to-back games. They decided to put their starting goalie in for both. But yeah, like we're 6 games in, and the season started, what was it, 11 days ago? And, they play tomorrow, Thursday, Saturday, Sunday, back-to-backs. They play, they actually don't have back-to-backs for a bit, November 16th, November 17th, so they get a couple of weeks without it. But, going on a road trip and then immediately coming home and having back-to-backs in your own barn is it's a quick turnaround. Like it's really going to be a season of, I think, injuries across the league, right? Like, especially when you lose a guy and would normally be a guy like an injury that would take you for 3 games. With how condensed the schedule is, that's maybe 4 games. That's maybe 5 games, right? A quicker turnaround. And, you look at a guy like Hedl going down and with the condensed schedule here, right? If he's out 10 days, he's missing 5 games, right? Including the game that he got pulled out of. So it can really catch up on you quick. And I think the season's going to be sort of a story of that.
Yeah. Imagine if they come home 5-0 or even 4-1 Park. We already know they're 3-0. There's going to be a winning road trip, and then imagine the atmosphere this weekend. Right next, it's going to be Montreal on Saturday, and then Edmonton on Sunday.
Packed house for both. Yeah. A lot of road fans for both. It'll be an interesting couple of games.
Yeah. Wow. And then I don't know. I was looking at last year's start. You might remember we lost the first 3, then we won 4, then we lost 2. And then we won 3. So we were like 7-5 or 7-4. Whatever. I know we had a barely winning record, but it was weird. We lost the first 3 last year, and then we won the next 3 or 4. So a different vibe already.
Yeah, and we were talking last week about how the vibe wasn't any different.
Obviously
I remember. It's crazy what a week can do. Winning 3 games in a row. Obviously it's like that. If that shootout goes differently against Chicago, it's kind of like, 3-2-1. They're doing okay. We lost to Chicago, but obviously that shootout goes the Canucks way, and the storyline's a little bit different. But even just looking at like shot totals, because obviously that's something that we're coming off of last year of being a team that couldn't get any shots on net, and now we're looking at Rick Tocchet going to Philadelphia and sort of the same story, right? Their shot totals are extremely low. Two of these games, they had 26 and 24 shots. So I'm still not sold on this being a new team with a new vibe, especially because, look, Pettersson had an unbelievable last 2 minutes of the game yesterday morning. But I'm still, and he had a nice goal, but I'm still waiting to see old Elias Pettersson, as we've been saying for, it feels like years at this point. And the lack of center depth is concerning. And I'm worried that Quinn Hughes is going to have to play, 36 minutes a night for this team to do something. And that's where my concerns are sort of coming in.
Totally fair. And then, I don't know what order. Do you like going? I can't remember what we do now. It's been so long. So do you like starting with most recent because it's fresh and go backwards, or do you like going chronologically?
I think we've been doing most recent on the days that are game days. And then I think on games that aren't game days, we go back.
Oh, that's smart.
So we can go back to Dallas. And this was just 4 days ago. This is Thursday. Canucks go down early, 2-0, and they frankly just got outplayed. Watching the beginning or the first period of this game was just a story of, oh, wow, we were right when we were talking about how this Canucks team looks the same and fairly uninspired. And then they came alive in the second period, right? Getting outshot 14-6 in the first. They come back outshoot them 12-6 in the second period. And pot 4 goals. Tough night for Casey DeSmith, but that's the benefit of going against a backup, right? You got to take advantage of those when you can. With Hedel scoring, Besser scoring, Sasson scoring, all in the matter of 3.5 minutes, which is obviously big. Garland tucks one to end the period, and then they just sort of coast. Dallas gets one with a couple minutes left to make it a little scary, and then Hughes from downtown iced it with the empty net.
Yeah. Did you watch that one live? Do you remember?
I don't remember. That was Thursday, so that would have been game 6, 7. That would have been a baseball game night.
Okay.
But I think that game was at 3. So maybe, although or the Stars game would have been at 5. I think I recorded the first period.
I was out for dinner. Hockey game was first, and then Blue Jays game was after or during, because I remember being at dinner. Oh, maybe they're at the same time, Parker. Because I remember
none of the baseball games started until 5 at the latest.
Right. Okay.
But one game was at 3 for some reason. I don't remember if that was the Wednesday or Thursday.
Yeah. Gotcha.
But either way, I recorded the Canucks game and caught up after.
Gotcha. So I remember what I was going to ask is when you saw or heard that Petey deflected that Maverick Bork centering pass into his own net, and he was able to joke about it, which is pretty cool. It was funny. He said totally to McDonald, I scored on Demmer last week, so now it's good to get one on the right side or whatever. Just your mindset, we're like, oh great, here we go, or we're like, okay, that wasn't his fault. He was trying to make a play. He's trying to deflect, whatever. Like, what was are you a pile on type of guy, or are you?
It's a tough one because there's like the analytical side of me and there's the emotional side of me. I think immediately when it happens, I go, "Are you kidding me, Pete?" And then I think, and I'm like, "Yeah, I've done that. Like I play defense.
Yeah.
I've done that a couple times. Pucks just go in off you sometimes. You make the right play, it goes the wrong way. It happens.
Yes.
It's one of those things where it's just and of course that happened, right? It's like Ian Cole in the Edmonton Oilers series a year and a half ago, right? Where just everything went wrong whenever Ian Cole touched the puck. In reality, he was solid for us until, those number of sequences. So, I think especially because he played better as the game went on and the Canucks won that game, especially. I think, I'm not too concerned about something like that.
Yeah. And the other thing I was going to say is, I know that Dallas, the second goal, when power play hints to Robertson to Rantanen, when you come in with speed, you might remember that one. They were basically crisscrossing across it's so good. Like it's pretty crazy. And even their late power play goal too. I just find that, obviously I'm happy the Canucks are winning. I do find that they are very susceptible to the cross ice pass, both through the slot and in front of the net. We've seen many goals, Chicago as well, where they just seem unaware or they just get outmanned pretty easily. As much as I believe in this defense, I'm thinking about the Chicago goal in particular against Pettersson, the first one, where they just seem to get outmanned a lot down low. But maybe they're still figuring out the system underfoot. I don't know. I don't know if you noticed that too, that they're just not great against the cross ice pass right now.
Yeah, when you watch a team like Dallas or a team like Colorado, it almost looks like they're playing a different game. Right, like they have a different level of speed. Like especially that late goal Dallas scored, as you mentioned, right?
Yes.
Like they just come in with speed, quick move to the backhand, fire it across in. Like just the plays develop so quickly, and it's just something that I feel like we don't see a lot. We see it a little bit with like guys like Hedel and the like, but it's just it looks like a different game, and that's what I see, and I get a little bit like, okay, we beat them and we're 4-2, but I don't see that elite level yet, right? That level that's like conference finals, Stanley Cup level of team, which is obviously where I get a bit concerned. But
right.
yeah, Dallas is a really good hockey team. We ran into a goalie having a tough night. I'm not going to put too much stock into that game, but they got the win. Again, we're past results, or we're past process oriented.
True.
Judgment, right? We're all onto results.
I did like how in that 4-goal explosion in the second period, 2 of the goals were pure speed. Hedel, right, from that loft pass from Kane, and then Sasson, that bank pass from Myers. It's nice. That's an element that, right, because Hedel was a midseason acquisition last year. And Sasson wasn't really with the team. An element we haven't really had. So yeah, that was good. So I'm not complaining, especially when you're down 2-0 after losing on Thanksgiving Monday. You're already 1-2, and you're thinking, "Oh, great, we're gonna be 1-3." And now look at where we are. We're 4-2 as opposed to whatever else. So I agree. The result was good. Process was okay. Lucky that DeSmith was not his stellar self, and take the win, right, and bank it.
Yeah. And then we look at the game at Chicago, right? Again, quick turnaround, back to back.
Yeah.
Again, like not the best start for the Canucks. I'm going to pull up the old natural stat trick as well, because I just want to see where that was at. So looking at Canucks Blackhawks 5-on-5. So first period pretty even, slight edge to Chicago in expected goals. But obviously Chicago scores those 2, right? They get the one on the power play. They get the Bertuzzi one late, and all those last minute goals are always they're tough to swallow. And teams suffer against them. But this is one of those games where, look, Canucks are on the second night of a back-to-back. Sure, Chicago's not a great team, but second night of a back-to-back sort of is a great equalizer. Then we go to the second period. The Canucks get 4 shots in the second period. 4 shots. That's terrible. But they score 2 goals, right? Obviously, there's the one on the power play from Garland just finding DeBrusk and sort of a mess in front, and it ends up going in. And I still don't really remember how that happened, because Lenovo decided to advertise to me instead. I'm trying to watch just want to watch the goal.
DeBrusk was trying to hammer it in. It bounced off the goalie and the defenseman. It went up in the air, actually. Oh, I just nailed myself in the face.
Yeah.
And then it was a good goal.
Then they score late in the period. And it's Max Sasson, again, not really the guy you'd expect it to. Like, nice pass from Carlson to Hronik, and then he just finds Sasson back door, right? Like, Sasson's in a battle, I think, with Dickinson on the wall, and just comes out of it, wins the race to the back post, and tucks it in. It's a smart goal. It's a good goal, and anytime you're getting a guy like Max Sasson and like scoring from Linus Karlsson, it's a pretty good place to be.
You know what's interesting, Parker, about that? If you watch the replay again, Sasson basically cross-checks Dickinson in the back. Not hard, but it reminded me a little bit about Dickinson and Hedel. Then Dickinson was draped on over Sasson as Sasson out-muscles him. Then I read that the next day that Dickinson he missed practice or whatever, and I didn't watch the game closely enough where I remember any other hit or injury, and I can't remember. They didn't go after him, right, like for their pound of flesh or anything. So I don't know if that was the cause of his injury, or I don't know if you saw anything, but I do know that he didn't play, or he didn't practice the next day at least. I have no clue if he's played since. So
yeah, I'm not sure.
Small. Yeah. Good. Awesome. So then 2-2. And then I heard, I didn't get to see the end of this game. What the heck? Where was I? But I heard overtime was crazy. Like, it was good. Fun.
Yeah, overtime was good. It was another one of those where, as overtime's ending, you're like, can we just keep doing this? Like, do we just shouldn't go to a shootout? There's no point. But of course we do go to a shootout, and it was a goaltending battle. We go 3 rounds, nobody scores. Teravainen, Pettersson, Bedard, Garland, Nazar, and DeBrusk. Donato
Yep.
gets stopped. Lankinen looked really good in this shootout.
Oh, he's
like
he's awesome.
There was nothing that was like oh, a guy missed the net or whatever. It's just oh, he beat him but couldn't tuck it in. It was just no one ever had a chance. Like everything was kept away, and then Besser just comes in and rips it. It was a nice way to finish. Canucks get the win. They get the extra point. Doesn't count for the tiebreakers, but you just want, if you're on a back-to-back, you want to get those 2 points.
Guess what? So yes, I agree with all those things. Lankinen looks so good in the shootout. I remember now, I just looked it up while you were talking. It was actually Hedel. It was Garland. Little Garland who gave Dickinson an open ice hit. And I remember seeing this now, and Dickinson's been out since. Interesting.
Well, they said they'd get him back.
Yeah, you get your smallest guy to do it, though. Impressive.
It's a choice, but yep.
Very good. I remember I was working that night, but I do remember following the highlights. So that's awesome. Back to, that's crazy. 3 games in 66 hours or whatever you said?
Yeah, something like that.
Because Sunday was early, yeah.
Yeah, 9:30 start after back-to-backs is it's kind of wild.
Yeah.
It's just, I don't really, I guess they just want to have games all day, but on a Sunday, but.
Do you remember the year after we lost to the Bruins where we played on a Saturday or Sunday in Boston, same time, like 1 a.m., 12:30, and that's the one where we beat them. Everyone called it Game 8, when obviously it didn't really matter.
Yes.
But that was the first Sunday I can remember where, and it's been like that ever since now, where there's 1 or 2 games like this every season. But that was the first one I remember, because I had people over like at 9:30 on a Sunday. And it wasn't NFL. Yeah, it's crazy. Did you get up for this one? Or
Yes, I did.
You're channel surfing? Yeah.
Yeah, no, luckily I didn't have any football to watch because the Seahawks played tonight.
Right.
But yeah, so I woke up at 9:30, put this one on, and an early start, right? Obviously, a nice little steal. I got to say, the ice looked terrible yesterday.
I never thought about that, actually.
So the entire second and third period, just pucks were hopping over everyone's sticks. It was just a mess. Like so many mistakes being made. And Pettersson's first goal is just a mishandle. Garland takes it away in the corner, feeds Pettersson. Who's the Caps goalie in this one?
Lindgren. Charlie Lindgren.
Yeah, Lindgren. He just was not centered in his net. He left the entire side of the net open. Pettersson found it. Minute in, early goal, which was big. And it's one of those ones where it's like, good, Pettersson scored. He's on the board. I'm not going to put any stock in it yet because it was a pretty... it's not like he made a sweep play to score, right? No one covered him for some reason.
Yep.
They left him all alone in the middle of the ice, and he just picked his spot, right? He's always had a good shot. The shot's never been the problem. But he picked a spot, far post, put it in, which was great.
Yeah.
Myers gets his 100th goal, and this was the real messy one.
Oh, that was fun.
This is the one. Hedel drives the net. Lindgren, it goes into Lindgren's pads. It comes out. He covers it for maybe a quarter of a second.
Yeah.
And then I guess he assumes he doesn't have it because he lifts his glove and then it's loose. Carlson sort of, fights for it. It ends up getting swept over to Myers by Lindgren, and Myers has a wide open net to put it in. Just an absolute mess of a goal.
I'm not sure you're watching the actual highlight, not the go. Watch Kane. Kane flies in and he doesn't. He sort of half cross checks, half pushes Wilson, and then Wilson gets him back. So those two guys aren't even looking at the puck. It's so funny. It was really funny, actually. It was just pure chaos. It was perfect.
Yeah, and then they challenged this for, I don't know, I guess. Oh, did I lose you? You're still good on my side.
You know what? This is the laptop that I'm running this off of. Siri activated or I'm fine. So sorry if I was talking over you. I apologize. Go ahead.
No,
sorry.
You're good. So they challenged this. They didn't say what they challenged it for. Johnny Bear went up to the timekeeper's box and went, Washington is challenging the goal. I'm like, okay, that's usually you have to specify it. Say 4 goalie interference or
that
4
helps.
a missed stoppage. But they just said, we're challenging that. And it was one of those ones where Lindgren definitely did cover it, but he also uncovered it under his own volition. He didn't, there was no whistle. He just let the puck go. So the Canucks end up scoring, of course. And then on that ensuing power play, Canucks get another one. And this time it's Kiefer Sherwood, who has 4 goals already this season. And this was just, him driving the net, right? Shot from the left sort of post or left top of the circle. Again, just a mess of a battle in front where DeBrusk has a foot in the paint. There's a battle for it. And the rebound comes right to Sherwood, who bangs in the open net. Lindgren doesn't even argue this one. He's just upset because, again, he's kind of impeded with here. But they're not going to challenge it again and risk another penalty. Canucks are up 3-0 to end the period.
Yeah, and Sherwood's on that power play because Besser wasn't playing and Lekkerimäki was hurt by here. So now it's next man up.
Yeah. And then in the second period, the Canucks make it 4-0. We'll start there, and then we can talk about Hedel.
Sure.
And this was a really nice play by Marcus Pettersson, just thwarting the zone entry from Tom Wilson. Really nice play. Kane picks it up on the rush, gains the line, tries to go through the defenseman, which maybe Evander Kane 6 years ago could have done. And then just, again, a bad clear, right? Just a mistake on the clearance. Again, a bouncing puck. The puck is just hopping on the ice. Kane just channels his inner Lionel Messi, kicks it with the right foot, kicks it with the left foot over to Bluger, who scores. This is the nicest play we have seen Kane make by far.
It was good. Yeah, it was good. Yeah, he just kind of bullied his way right down the middle and just happened to show some good hand-foot coordination, I guess. Eye-foot, not hand-foot. You know what I mean? You know what I'm trying to say.
You can't use your hands.
Yes, exactly. By the way, before we get into the Washington goals and the Hedel injury, I want to recognize Swerven Irvin's donation. Thank you, Swerven Irvin. Games on the East, including Swedes, start early for Europe. I never thought about that, but that makes sense, I guess. 9-hour difference. Yeah, no, that's actually true because a 7:00 game here is 4 a.m. for them. So at 9:00, whatever. I hear what you're saying, Swerven. If that's the reason, that makes sense, I guess. I don't know if that's why they do it, but
maybe you should prioritize the team that's played back-to-back games to not play at 9:30 in the morning more than that.
That's
but
true.
But sure.
And thank you for the donation, Swerven Irvin. Yes,
thank you.
Very good. All right. Sorry to interrupt. Keep going.
Washington scores a couple. They score one late in the, or I guess 2/3 of the way through the second period. On the power play, just a play to the middle, backdoor pass, nice goal. I mean, Lankinen got the initial stop, or I guess it's Demko in this game. Demko got the initial stop off the pad, but there's no one there to help with the rebound. So they make it 4-1, and then they got 2 in the third period. Chychrun with the again. I don't know why Jacob Chychrun's there, but he's backdoor, just snuck all the way down. Someone's got to be there to pick him up. Canucks have 4 defenders above the hash marks, and there's 2 Capitals below. They make the nice pass. Mancini can't get a piece of it, so it's getting closer. And then Carlson scores with about 2 minutes left. This was was this the one where that didn't result in a goal, but. Just played back to the point for Carlson. He just wired it. He's got one of the best shots from the point. Always has. Rips it through. And it's 4-3, but the Canucks are able to survive and, win 3 games in a row. The one play I want to mention is before that with the net, or after that with the net empty, Evander Kane's drop pass in the defensive zone when you're 3 feet from the blue line and you can just chip it by the defender. You say, no, I'm going to get tricky and drop it to my winger behind me who's not expecting me to do that so that they can do something with it. And then immediately it's a turnover and a scoring chance. That was really frustrating.
That was strange. He's actually played quite well. He's a +3 and he had a horrible start to the season, as we talked about last week, but he's been a lot better. But that play, he almost, imagine if Washington scored and then won in extra time, that would have just erased all the goodwill that he spent the last week building up. That was strange, wasn't it? Was he trying to be unselfish? Was he trying to be too cute? I don't know. I don't know.
I'm not sure.
Just skate it out. Yeah, no one's going to take it off you. Just skate it out. Yeah.
So the Canucks played most of that game with 10 forwards. Right, Lekkerimäki only plays 4 minutes before getting hurt. Hedel only plays 5 minutes before taking a bit of a late hit from Tom Wilson. And suddenly the Canucks off or forward depth is looking even thinner.
Yeah. Were you okay with not? No one was okay with that hit, but did you understand why they said it was? Did he even say when he announced it was a clean hockey hit or a good hockey hit?
That's what I didn't like.
Yeah.
Because it was late. It wasn't very late, but it was late. It was 2 minutes for interference in my books.
Yep.
It was a clean hit on a player who had gotten rid of the puck a little bit too long ago. But to have the 5 minute called on obviously there's concussion history and all this stuff, and it's a bad spot to be. But to have it called as a 5 and then to come back and say, oh, it's a good hockey hit, just felt kind of, I don't know. I just didn't like it. And yeah, it was late. I think it was 0.6 seconds. I think 0.4 is like the benchmark or whatever they use, but it was late. It should have been 2 minutes.
I agree with that. Then you look at the players involved, Tom Wilson, like the truck, and who's had a history of clean and dirty hits. And then our guy who's had 4 diagnosed concussions and even more, probably even more. Like, I know it was shoulder to chest, but I know, and we all know, that you can get a concussion not even by getting hit in the head. You can just get jarred, right? And you can. So that was scary. I was actually mad. I was yelling at my TV.
Me too. Yeah, no, I had a couple group chats going crazy. It's one of those ones where it's like, look, if you make that hit on any other guy, it's like, okay, that's a late hit, but whatever, right? Like it was, at least it was shoulder to chest, unfortunate outcome. But, and that's Tom Wilson's job, right? His job is to get a spark, get his team going. But he was clearly tunnel visioned on absolutely laying Hedel out. Hedel needs to be ready for that, for one. That's, you just can't, especially as a player who, like, I don't really want to say it, but who's one hit away, right, from having, a career-ending issue. You just can't put yourself in that position, right? You need to make your pass, head up, brace yourself, right? Be ready to take that hit. But he wasn't ready for it, takes the hit. And obviously, there's not even a penalty on it. But yeah, that Tom Wilson has always, he doesn't get the benefit of the doubt from me, right? It's not like, I can go up and down either of these rosters, right? If Nick Dowd had made that hit, I'd have been like, damn, that was a big hit. But it was late. But it's Tom Wilson, right? He's always played on the edge. He's always had a bit of a lack of maybe care for the opponent. So I struggle to give him the benefit of the doubt, but on the same vein, it probably should have been 2 minutes, and Hedel needs to make sure that doesn't happen to him.
In my fantasy pool, Parker, I had a couple injuries, so I went to next man up, most points this season, and 2 points clear of everyone else was Tom Wilson, and morally I couldn't do it. I could not pick him up for my team.
I have him.
And
that made me more mad because we have penalty minutes as a category. So the penalty gets taken off the board. I could have had 5 minutes or maybe
2
15
assists
if he got kicked, but nope, didn't get anything.
That's really, really funny. And then I was hoping that he just got the wind knocked out of him. I was hoping that concussion spotter pulled him and he would be okay, but no, he flew back to Vancouver. So that's not good. That is not good.
Well, in the same vein, flying, at least, I don't know, because usually you're not supposed to fly right away, but I'm not.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Actually, that's a good point. That's a good point. You're not supposed to get on a plane if you're, that's true. That's true. Maybe it's chest. Maybe it's shoulder.
Yeah, maybe like a dislocated shoulder or something. Who knows?
Gosh, you see the Lekkerimäki hit? It was more innocent. It was like side to side.
I actually missed it. I completely missed it.
Yeah, they're saying it could be shoulder or collarbone just because it was one of those where two guys kind of went shoulder to shoulder, kind of jammed up on him. So we'll see.
That's tough.
Yeah,
that's tough.
Oh, and then Bluger went down at the end of the game, but he did not fly home. So maybe not tomorrow, they said, but at least he's still with the team.
Yeah, it's getting thin. Losing potentially 2 centers.
Yep.
And then, of course, you have, a winger going down. And not like Lekkerimäki is a staple in the lineup, right? I think we would have been okay with him being put in the press box if need be. But now if Bluger's away, your centers are Elias Pettersson is your 1C.
Yep.
And lately he hasn't really looked like a 1C. So, again, other than, and I said we'd mention it, but those two blocks, including stacking the pads late,
that's pretty
sick. And great call from Shorty to call it out. But then, well, we're getting what we asked for. Maybe we wanted it next year, but Atu Ratu is your second line center.
Yeah.
And then Max Sasson is your third line center. And I guess Niels Oman is your fourth line center.
With Joseph Labate waiting in the wings. Is he a winger?
Or maybe he's playing wing. Yeah, as I think he might be in the lineup too. It's, we already have seen, like, Hedel and Lekkerimaki have already gone on IR, it looks like.
Yeah.
So
that's
they're
correct.
at least out for a week. Obviously, Hoaglander's still away on LTI. And if you look in the press box, obviously we don't know if Besser will be back.
Correct.
For the game tomorrow. Bluger is not on IR, but maybe injured. So if you assume Besser and Bluger are out, your press box is one man, and it's Verlander. And you have, you have Joe Labate in the lineup playing, I don't know, fourth line right wing, even though he's left-handed. Because I don't know who else you'd put there, because you've already got Baines on the fourth line, and he's left-handed, and Niels Oman, and he's left-handed. So you have no right-handed people to put down there, and you're not moving Sherwood down, and you're probably not moving Linus Karlsson down. So don't know what your options are there. And then on defense, now you have Pierre-Olivier Joseph on your third pair with Elias Pettersson.
So this is great. So in a perfect world, Brock Besser would just slide in for Lekkerimaki, who slid in for Brock Besser, right? That's in a perfect world. But you're right. If Besser is not ready to go, we're looking at a forward crew. Your top six then got to be some combination of Petey, DeBrusque, Kane, Garland.
Ratu.
You need a center in there, Ratu, and maybe Sherwood. Then if you keep Bain, Sasson, Carlson together, right? Because they do play well together. That leaves a fourth line. No, you're right. You have no center now. No, you have Amon,
Drew O'Connor,
Labate, and O'Connor.
And Joe
Exactly.
Labate.
Yeah. Because you move Sherwood up to the top six, which I think you have to do. So, So without Brock Besser, that's what it looks like. You get Besser, then I guess Labate's out, and it looks a little bit better. And then Sherwood moves down to the bottom six. Yeah.
And if you get Blue back, Niels Oman drops out. And it's not great, but it's not terrible. I mean, really, if you have Besser and Bluger in the lineup, then you're looking at, your top two lines are a little iffy and your bottom two lines are fine. And then your defense again is good, except we don't know what we're going to get out of Pierre-Olivier Joseph. That's a big question mark, right? He only played, I guess he played 47 games last year. He had, guess how many points he had last year in 47 games?
Mancini? No, who are you talking about? Oh, Joseph?
Joseph, yep.
3.
Correct. He had 3 points. So it's, you don't know what you're going to get down in that third pair with Elias Pettersson. And also that's going to be two lefties, right? P.O. Joseph is a lefty. Verlander's a righty, but I doubt they're going to take Elias Pettersson
Look at this.
to put him in.
A couple people say, why don't they run 7D? 11 forward and 7D. I don't like it. I hate that, actually. I think it's stupid, but...
I hate that. As someone who, as someone who plays beer league hockey as a defenseman, if we have 5 defensemen show up, it is the worst time ever. You need 4, and if you have 6, I'm not showing up. 5 is almost as bad. I can't imagine what 7 would look like. It's not like everyone's getting equal ice time like we do in beer league, but it seems miserable. But unless you want to go. Because if you want to keep the handedness on defense, you would take, I guess, Joseph out, and you'd go Pettersson, Verlander as your third pair. There's no way they want to have a 20 and 21-year-old as their third pair, though.
No, both Joseph and DPD have played right side before, so I think Joseph becomes your forward in that kind of combination, who went missing again, and then you can put DPD on the right. But what's really interesting is, I can't even say his name, Jimmy Schuld. He got called up and sent back down on the same day. Did you follow this?
I didn't see that. That's a tough spot.
So can you explain to me, why did they send Mancini down in the first place?
I assume it's cap. I think it's all salary cap manipulation.
Because he makes
try to maximize their
right.
LTIR with
Because I do know he makes 870, whereas Schultz and LeBate make 770. So they each make 100 grand less than Mancini. So I get that if you had two spots, not just one, obviously, why would you do that then? But if you, then you make the math better, I guess. Yeah. But do you hear about this rule where he has to play one game in the AHL now, so we don't get him back until the weekend?
Yeah. Yeah, that's
That's weird.
It's one of the. I mean, they made that a rule for this reason, right? Because there were
Right.
a lot of teams, mostly the Canucks last year, that were just papering guys down, bringing them back up. Trying to essentially manipulate the manipulate the salary cap without needing to actually ship guys back to Abbotsford, for example. So I see why they've done that, but obviously in this case where the whole team is a bit of a disaster. Lineup wise right now, it's a bit tricky.
Right. And the closer you are, and the best scenario is right at the cap, but the closer you are, the better it is, because then you can use more of Hoglander's $3 million salary. Is that correct?
Correct. And they're at $25,000 of cap space right now. So they're pretty close.
Yeah, so they probably had to move Mancini down to save that 100 grand, right? To get two guys up or whatever.
Something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Good enough for me. So what's your prediction? It doesn't sound. I obviously want Besser to play, but if he doesn't, that's an interesting bottom six tomorrow. the Abbotsford line becomes your third line now.
Yeah, and we don't know. The latest I can see just from Googling Brock Besser is we don't know if he's going to play tomorrow.
Right.
So that's tricky. I'm going to assume he won't, just to keep everything.
Yeah.
Just to play it safe.
Sure.
So yeah, it's going to be an interesting line. This is one of those things where it's like, man, too bad we sent Braden Coots back so early, because
I was thinking about that.
Probably could have used him right now, but it's too late. Can't pull him back now. But yeah, I think this is going to be. I mean, I hope Teddy Bluger's back. I think that's big because, just how many is Elias Pettersson going to play 28 minutes tomorrow? Looking at Ratu, Sasson, and Oman behind him.
Yeah,
I think he might play 30 minutes tomorrow. I'm only half joking.
No, I know.
I put the over under at 27 and a half minutes for Pettersson tomorrow.
But I'm pretty sure only in 4 or 5 of the games already, he's only played 16 minutes, and then I think he played 20 yesterday. So then to jump up to 30 would be amazing.
Yeah, well, it's duty calls, man. They got no one else. It's just so thin. I think if Bluger's back, he might get 12 minutes. But looking at do they want to play Ratu more than 14? Do they want to play Sasson more than 11? Do they want to play Oman more than 8?
8?
It's okay. We do that math there. What did I say? 14, 11, and 8. That's 32 minutes. Okay, you gotta fill the rest. I don't think that math adds up, but it was close.
Yeah, I hear you. Carol, thank you for proclaiming your Canucks After Dark loyalty for the past 4 months. We appreciate you. Okay, let's do this. Let's quickly preview the next week, and then we'll leave the last few minutes for questions. Does that work?
Sounds good. So we've got 4. Oh man, I think we have 5 games before we do the next show.
Tell them why.
So I have hockey next Monday night. So we're going to do the next show Tuesday post game after the JT Miller return to Vancouver on October 28th.
That's going to be a massive show.
Which means now that is 8 days away, and there are 5 Canucks games before then.
What? That's crazy.
The Canucks play tomorrow at 4, Thursday at 5, Saturday they come back home Saturday at 4 against the Habs, Sunday at 7 against the Oilers, and then Tuesday at 7 against the Rangers. So it would have been 4. It's gonna be 5, and then we're still gonna have 3 more before the show after that. So there's no shortage because again we are on condensed season mode with the Olympic break. So looking at the upcoming opponents, we've got the Pittsburgh Penguins, who are 4-2, same record as the Canucks. They're coming off a big 3-0 win against the San Jose Sharks. They haven't played a ton of hard teams yet. They beat the Kings. They lost to the Ducks. They beat the Islanders. So they also haven't played since Saturday. So they've had 2 days off. They'll be rested.
Yeah.
Canucks, I assume, should be road favorites against Pittsburgh, because Pittsburgh's looking a little iffy, but it's a team it's a game that could go either way.
Yeah.
Then Thursday they go to Nashville. Now Nashville has been struggling. They're bottom of the Central, and they're a 500 hockey team.
Wow.
Because the Central is the one division that's like doing well. Where they have no team is worse than 500. They are 2-2-2. So they've lost a lot more than they've won, being 2-4 essentially. They're allowing some goals. They lost 4-1 to the Jets. They lost 7-4 to the Leafs. So that'll be an interesting matchup. A playoff rematch from 2 years ago.
That's right.
Again, a team the Canucks should beat, right? But I don't get my hopes up. I think those two, if you go 1-1 and finish the road trip 4-1, I think you're probably in a pretty good spot.
Absolutely. Yes. Yes.
So then they come home for what should be like the 3 biggest games of the year, like at least for the early part of the year at home, right? Like the 3 biggest road presences other than the Maple Leafs. Because you have the Habs, which is always the second biggest game of the year in Vancouver when it comes to road fans turning up. Obviously, the Oilers have a big presence here with Alberta transplants. And then you have the Rangers, marquee matchup on the Tuesday. The Habs are currently 5-2 to start their season. They've been hot. So they're going to be a tough matchup. The Oilers, as we mentioned, have been slow out of the gate, 2-3-1. Evan Bouchard looks terrible. But you never know, right? That's going to be a hard matchup. And Canucks obviously lost to the Oilers opening night, or not opening night, but the second night of the season on October 11th. And then, the Rangers coming into Vancouver, they are 3-4-1. JT Miller looks, he's leading this team to a losing record so far.
You know what's crazy about the Rangers? They're 0-4 at home and 3-0-1 away. So they haven't lost. It's so crazy.
Well, they didn't score in their first 3 home games, right?
That's tough to win then. Yes.
Yeah, so they lost their first home game, they lost 1-0 to the Capitals. Their second home game, they lost 2-0 to the Oilers. And their third home game, they lost 3-1. It was today. Did they not? 1, 2, 3. Nope, 2-0. Yeah. 3-0 to the Penguins, 1-0 to the Capitals, 2-0 to the Oilers. And then today was their 4th home game, and they scored 1 goal and lost 3-1 to the Minnesota Wild.
That's unreal.
It is unreal. I actually can't believe that. JT Miller, 4 points in 8 games, which is tough when 4 of their games they have only scored 1 goal.
Right. And PD has 3 and 6. So they're basically at the same points per game pace.
Nice.
Yeah. Nice. Prediction time. Okay, I'll start. You did a good job breaking those down. I think they split their remaining 2 games.
Yep.
And I think they go right across 1-1-1. So that puts it at 2-2-1 for me. That seems really, really weak, but they banked some goodwill with me. And I don't think Montreal Edmonton's going to be an easy back-to-back. And then and New York will be motivated. So, yeah, I'm going to bump it up 1. I think I'm going to go 3-2. I'm going 3-2.
I like it. I'm looking at this. I assume Demko plays tomorrow and maybe Thursday. I don't know. I don't know how they're going to run the goalie tandem. We haven't really seen what they're going to do yet because it's sort of been pretty scripted so far on who starts. Yeah. I think if we had started out the season and said, who do you think is going to start the first 6 games? I think it's exactly how we would have laid it out. I think it's exactly how we did lay it out. Now we're starting to get the point where they have, 3 games in 5 days. So they're all separated by 1 rest day with a back-to-back. So the decision is, who do you start really against the Habs and who do you start against the Oilers? And it's a tricky proposition because part of me thinks, well, do everything you can to at least win the 1 game against Montreal, right? That's your best chance to get 2 points. put Demko in against Montreal, lay it on the line then. However, in reality, if you are thinking the long game, 2 points against Edmonton are a lot more valuable than 2 points against Montreal.
Right.
So if you want to play that game, then maybe it makes sense to go, Demko against Pittsburgh and Nashville, put in Lankinen, although it's maybe a tough thing to do on Hockey Night in Canada against Montreal, and then put in Demko for that Oilers game, and then Demko can get the Tuesday game as well. It's a tricky one. I'm going to go win against... I'm going to say they lose to Pittsburgh, win against Nashville. They beat the Habs. They lose to the Oilers. They beat the Rangers, and they go 3-2 over the next 5.
Okay. Yeah, that 3-2 sounds right. I might have the 2 road games reversed, but it doesn't matter. I actually think, I don't know, there's something about poetic about Lankinen in Nashville. So I think they're going to go Demko, Lankinen, Demko. So I have no problem playing Lankinen against Edmonton. Like you're not going to just play Demko against Edmonton all the time. You got to look at situation. And technically by record and Hockey Night, I don't know if Hockey Night big lights makes a difference. I don't know if Montreal better record than Edmonton makes a difference, or maybe nothing. I could see them alternating though, going here from Demko, Lankinen. Yeah, I could. Who knows?
We'll see how they play it. I think, just thinking like, again, for the game that's like better for vibes, you want to win Hockey Night in Canada against Montreal in town. But what's more important is probably beating the Oilers on the Sunday. But it's a bit trickier to maybe get up for that game against Edmonton.
Yeah. And exactly what we're talking about, the 2 kind of uncommon sense is Demko should be against Edmonton, more value for the win. It is a 4-pointer, as you've talked about. And then the next one, though, the free speech says don't have to shield Lankinen for tough teams. He's good enough to be a starter. So I think that it's a great problem to have, right? Those 2 viewpoints.
Yeah, absolutely.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right. 7 minutes of people.
Let's do it. Folks, if you got any questions, throw them in the chat. We can answer those for the next few minutes before we wrap up here. Like we said, while we're here, next show will not be next Monday. It will be next Tuesday. You never have to worry about it if you are subscribed here on Canucks After Dark, if you hit the notification bell. And keep in mind, you can always rewind. You can watch later. You can listen to the podcast, however you want to do it.
Yep, very good. Keys to the game, fangirl, for tomorrow. For me, it's a good start. You don't want to get in this habit of falling behind early. And depending on the roster, right, the guys that we have playing, it's not even about chemistry. It's just, I think a good start will just help with that. And it'll help with the nerves for some of these guys. Like Joseph hasn't played a while. If we see LeBate tomorrow, Niels Amon tomorrow. So we could have 3 guys that basically have barely played the season yet. So I think a good start's important. How about you, Parker?
Key to the game is impressing Sidney Crosby, who requests a trade to Vancouver to end this season. No, I think it's getting on the board early, like they did against what game was that? I'm drawing a blank. The one where Pettersson scored right at the beginning. Is it Chicago? No, that was
Washington.
Washington. I couldn't get Dallas and Chicago out of my head. Like the game against Washington, I think scoring early, building that lead. I don't love I love the score 4 goals part. I don't love the sit back and let the other team score 3 and almost tie it late. Yeah. But look, this team has done a really good job of battling back when they've been down. But like you said, can't make a habit of that. Because if you're down 2 after 1, you're losing probably 80-85% of the time. They went their way a couple times, but you got to jump on these teams, get out ahead early. Try to hold on from there.
Irvin has a good question, and I think he's talking about with his teammates. Should Hito be upset with his teammates? They let Dickinson off the hook one game, and then they let Wilson off the hook immediately after. There was a bit of scuttlebutt about the lack of pushback from the Canucks after that hit. Adam Foote was saying after the game, though, that they wanted to stay disciplined and wanted the 2 points more importantly. I don't know. That's a tough one. I don't play as much as you, and I'm sure you're not getting into bench clearing brawls or anything, but you understand hockey mentality. Would you like to see more of a pushback on Wilson?
I don't know. I think, look, they did what they're supposed to do right after, and they ran him down and, at least caused a bit of a scene. But what I noticed was half of the guys went after Wilson, and half of the guys went straight to Hedl. Right? Like Garland and Hughes went straight to Philip Hedl. And I don't hate that at all. Especially because you got like Carlson and someone else went after Wilson. But for a couple of the guys to not be angry about the hit, but immediately be concerned about their teammate, I think almost means more. So I think it's a bit of a balance. He's a tough customer. It's a tough play. It's a tough guy to go after. I would have loved to see Evander Kane maybe take some liberties and be like, hey, this is maybe what I was brought here to do. I should be going after this guy. And even if I have to take a bit of a beating in that regard, but I think in the moment, I don't think they did anything wrong. But I would have liked to see, maybe Kane or like a Myers maybe try to go after him a little bit within, not, Todd Bertuzzi style, but more of a, at least get in his face and start something.
Good point. 2 back-to-back questions that ask the same thing. When do you think the Canucks will pull the trigger for center, given the slew of injuries? You think Hito's injury will determine when Elvie and Rutherford make a move? You can't really ride PD, Ratu, Sasson, and Aman for a long stretch. Prices are not going to be cheap. Yeah.
No, it's not. Because the thing is, are you looking for a third line center? Probably not. You've got a slew of guys who could step in, and one of them will eventually fill that role just fine. Yep. Second line center is not cheap. That is a tough role to fill. And there's not a lot of teams, especially this early in the year, that are eager to get rid of their second line center, right? If there's any team that would want to do it this early, it's a team that has high aspirations of tanking. And there's only going to be a few of those across the league. If you are a team that's sort of on the bubble, right? Like if you're the Seattle Kraken right now, and they're in division, so it's a bad example. But if you're the Utah Mammoth, okay, you started off the season 4-2, you're not really in a rush to be trading anyone because you're like, well, we've got something cooking a little bit here. Let's ride this and see how this goes, right? The team has earned the right to to see where this ends up, right? Same thing with the Penguins, right? They're sort of on Crosby's like last hurrah potentially, but they're 4-2. They're not going to be making any moves this early until they're pretty well out of it. I don't think and what sucks for the Canucks is if you're a team that's sort of on the bubble, you want to make that move early, but that's going to cost you.
Yeah. That's a great point about the cost and just, the difference between a 2C and a 3C. I think Sasson, they're grooming him to be a 3C. I see actually more potential Sasson than Ratu. I know it's early, whatever. But you're right. If we thought it was expensive and if they were complaining about the price of trades in the summer, that's going to be nothing compared to what it's going to cost now because the GMs are going to know we're desperate. They're going to know that we need help. So I think a lot, if Bluger's okay, I think you can stem it for a little bit, Parker, but I don't know for how long, especially if you have aspirations to go deep in the playoffs.
Yeah, I think if you're at the point where you're 4th in the division at the end of November, and you're sort of like, okay, we gotta make that move now, right? Where it's we don't really have the time, right? We can't be fourth. We can't be like on the bubble going into March, right? It's just too risky. Or going into February. We need to make that move earlier. I think, it's going to really depend on what the market looks like. We know this is a group that likes to set the market. But my hope is they'll be, only setting the market if it's in their favor.
Yes. Good point. Let's end with this one. The scouting report, shots from the point through traffic versus Shelov's. Which is true.
Shelov's starting tomorrow?
I don't know. They're both him and Jari have identical. It's actually really interesting when you look at the Canucks and Penguins goalie stats. Demko and Jari's numbers. Is it Jari or Jerry?
Jari.
Jari. Demko and Jari's numbers are very much similar, and Lankin and Shelov's numbers are very much similar. So, and both teams 4-2. Yeah.
I don't know why unless they're like, oh, it's your former team, go beat them. But like Jari's the better goaltender. Like
for sure.
He's a bona fide number 1 goaltender.
Yeah.
He had a bad year last year, but like he's had a 921 season, a 919 season, a 909 season, 903. Like 2 909 seasons. He's a number 1 goaltender. he's a top 20 goalie in the league. I would be shocked on 2 days full rest if it wasn't Jari tomorrow.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough. All right. So don't forget, everyone, next Tuesday, Not Monday, next Tuesday. Just think of the JT Miller game. Then you think you can catch Parker and me right after that. We'll announce the start time. It might be 10:15 because I got to get back from bowling. Unless Parker is so excited he wants to start at 10 and I just jump in. But we'll figure that out next week. But it'll be between 10 and 10:15 a week from tomorrow.
Yep. Like I said, make sure you're subscribed here on YouTube. 136 of you in here. Canucks After Dark on YouTube. Hit subscribe. Hit the notification bell. If you're one of those people on Twitter or X or whatever you want to call it that's tuning in, same idea. You can jump over to YouTube or follow Clay. Do whatever you want to do. Hit subscribe. Hit the notification bell. If you missed any part of this show, you can rewind back to the beginning. You can find this on your favorite podcast platform in a matter of 15 minutes or so, whether it's Apple or Google or Pocket Cast or whatever, or Spotify. So find us there. Clay, any parting words?
3 things. Number 1, Parker, you are doing way better than I thought you. I know you'd pull through because you're a champ that way, but I know you're hurt inside. But way to power through. Number 2, if anyone wants to keep talking, I have a very light show tonight, a quick one, an open house. So if you give, I'll rest my voice and give you guys a chance to jump on my show that's at 11:15. Number 3, Parker, let's embrace this 4-2, a chance to be even further ahead above 500. Feels good, doesn't it? A little bit.
It does. That part feels good. Yeah, no, I for a bit I forgot about the baseball game, and then I opened the app to check the Seahawks score, and there was a score right above that one that hurt a little bit, but that's okay. It's okay.
You'll make it.
This is the worst
I
it
believe in
will
you.
feel. Seahawks are 5-2, Canucks are 4-2. We're rolling. Yeah, like I said, make sure you subscribe to all that good stuff. We'll catch you next Tuesday. That's about it. Thank you all for watching. I promised one of these. And we will see you guys next week.